Tea was a little bit too hot. Hey family, welcome back to Vibe Check, a space to unpack, heal, and become together. This is the second episode in this YouTube series that I premiered last week. And so if you missed that introduction, be sure to check it out because I give the whole background of how this series was birthed. So today I'm diving into what dysregulation can teach us about healing and resistance. And this is something that I've really been sitting with since seeing this really thought-provoking, really brilliant Instagram post from Pat Radical Therapist. And for those of you who don't know who she is or who are not familiar with what she does, her work as a radical somatic therapist is truly just like phenomenal. And I really just admire the way that she challenges constructs within mental health and wellness through her work as a therapist. So her post really got me thinking, especially as a follow-up to my last video on protecting our energy in 2025, where I talked about grounding and self-soothing, particularly to take care of our nervous systems. And those tools are so important, especially in the context of ensuring that our cups are full enough to not only show up for ourselves, but to support one another collectively in this moment. But today, I also really want to open up a conversation about the nuances of regulation, the ones that often get left out of mainstream wellness. Because lately, I've been thinking a lot about how dysregulation isn't always something that we need to fix. What if it's actually just a sign that something deep within us refuses to conform? That maybe in some cases, our nervous system is resisting in a way that's necessary. And this is what Pat really gets into on her Instagram post. A lot of conversations around nervous system care focus on achieving a regulated state, right? And we talk about breath work, we talk about grounding, we talk about calming techniques to manage stress and anxiety. And if you know me, then you know that these practices are core to my own routine and they can really be helpful. But I want to push back on this idea that we have to be calm or regulated all the time, because I've been thinking about how these conversations sometimes center this idea of control and what that might mean for people whose bodies and nervous systems don't always fit into that mold. I'm raising my hand because I'm one of those people. What if this constant drive toward regulation is more about fitting into a system that was not designed to actually honor the full spectrum of our experiences? What if there's something in the very experience of dysregulation that's important? Something that speaks to our aliveness and our resistance and our humanity. I believe at the end of the day, it all comes down to agency. Like, we have the agency to engage in practices that help us to calm down if that's what we need. And we also have the agency to allow ourselves to feel the full range of our emotions, because they're also real and valid and natural. You know, it's not about making dysregulation wrong or bad. It's really just about choosing what feels true for us in the moment and honoring our whole selves, our full selves, exactly as we are. Now, for some of us, especially those of us who carry histories of trauma and systemic oppression, our nervous systems might not always be calm, and that's okay. Take me as example. As someone who navigates anxiety and panic and agoraphobia as a result of domestic violence, I am a domestic violence survivor. I know firsthand how our bodies hold on to those experiences, and it's often in ways that do not neatly fit the ideal of being calm or regulated, right? And like many, I'm not the same person that I was before the COVID-19 pandemic at all. I'm still learning how to navigate life in this new reality where my body's responses are not always predictable. But sometimes, as Pat offers, when our bodies are shaking and they're pulsing and they're moving through different states of emotions like grief and joy and anger and stillness, that's actually a sign that we're alive. We've been taught that dysregulation is a problem or something to be fixed. But what if we reframe it as something that is part of our resilience and a part of our resistance in the worlds that we live in? What if this dysregulation is a way for the body to say, what you're experiencing is not normal and your response is valid. What if it's way of saying, I'm still here, even in the chaos, right? Like, I don't know. I just think there's beauty in allowing ourselves to really just experience the full range of our emotions and to honor that movement and to honor the trembling and to honor that transmutation, because sometimes that's how we process the chaos around us. It's a valid response to what we experience in our day-to-day. It's a natural response to a world that feels unsafe. If anything, the way our bodies respond lets us know that our nervous systems are serving the role that they're meant to serve. And it's also alchemy. It truly is. And it's okay if it doesn't always look like stillness or calm. Part of my work as an embodiment facilitator includes guiding others and connecting with their emotions in order to tap into the messages that their subconscious may be trying to tell them. Because there truly is wisdom in the things that we feel. That's what practices like meditation are for. They help us to slow down enough to go within and hear the things that our subconscious is trying to tell us. And so on that note, let's pause here for a sec, because I'd love to know how this is landing for you. Like, is anything clicking? Is your body reacting in some way? Are there any thoughts that are coming to the surface? Whatever's coming up, just notice it. And if you feel like sharing, feel free to drop a comment below. Yeah, I'd love to hear your thoughts. Let me see if my tea is cool enough to drink. That is still too hot. Okay. Anyway, in our society, we are often taught that calm is the ultimate goal. But something that I've personally been exploring while navigating anxiety and panic is the question of, is calm the only way that I can feel safe? Is calm the only way that I can feel okay with entering environments that might make me feel a little bit edgy? Can I still exist while still feeling shaky, while still trembling, while feeling whatever? Because sometimes safety doesn't look like stillness. Sometimes it can look like the shaking and the moving and the expressing the full force of our emotions. And I think it's about listening to our bodies and recognizing that they're communicating with us, as I said earlier, and not trying to suppress or control those messages. In my own practice, I share grounding tools for when we need them, but I also think it's important to acknowledge that some days we don't need to calm down. Some days we need to rage. Some days we need to be angry. Sometimes we need to tremble. Sometimes we need to scream. We need to laugh. We need to do whatever it is that wants to come out. We need to feel the fullness of our emotional experience, because that's a part of feeling alive too. The idea of liberation, especially in the context of trauma and resistance, is really important here, because liberation isn't about fitting into a perfect box of control or regulation. Liberation is about the wildness of our bodies and the messiness of our feelings, the movement of our emotions. It's about letting ourselves exist fully without shame, without the need to be polite, without the need to be regulated all the time. And when I think about this, I think about how so many of us have been taught to fear our own valid responses to the world, especially our larger emotions like rage and grief. But what if our healing isn't feeling those things? And I just broke out in chills on my right side of my body. And to me, that's always confirmation that a message is clear or coming through or is being confirmed by my guides. I felt that like really profoundly. What if our healing isn't feeling those things? What if the permission to feel fully without shame or judgment is a key part of our liberation? I really want to open this up to you though. So what does your body need in those moments of dysregulation? And have you ever been told to calm down when what your body really needed was to feel or to move or express itself? How do you navigate that tension between the need for calm and the need for movement and release? Let's talk about this, because I think there's so much power in exploring the full spectrum of our emotions and the full spectrum of what our bodies are trying to tell us. So yeah, let me know in the comments below if you have anything you want to share there. Otherwise, that's what I wanted to share with you guys today. I think we can hold space for both sides of the conversation, honoring the importance of grounding and nervous system care, while also acknowledging that sometimes dysregulation is not a problem. It's a very necessary form of resistance, and it's a very necessary form of life. We don't always have to fix it. We can let it be a part of our healing process, and sometimes that's actually what we really need. So let's continue this dialogue. As I said, drop a comment below. And if you enjoyed today's episode, don't forget to subscribe for more Vibe Check. And until next time, take care of yourselves, however that looks for you today. And I'll see you in the next one. Bye, guys.